And we are live. This is totally awesome. We've got an awesome show for you tonight. I am Justin, also known as the DIY Audio Guy. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Nick from Toys DIY Audio. And down below us, we have our special guest, the one and only Bass Dad. Bass Dad, how are you, man?
Man, I'm doing good. How are you?
I got a question for you, man.
Sure.
What is that big subwoofer behind you?
Those are the ones that got delivered today. It's a Sundown V2 SAV2. So that's my co-host. Oh.
Your co-host?
I've never seen one of these or had one, and I was really kind of concerned about it because I plan on pumping a lot of watts through this thing. But I just had to show it because I don't think anybody really realizes from the pictures like how big these are. Like they are humongous. Yeah,
it is huge.
It is a huge subwoofer.
They do a good job making the back of the subwoofer look nice as well. I feel like.
Oh yeah, they do. They do.
Like the magnet area.
Yeah, it's got some nice etching on it. I mean, everything about it feels quality. I've always thought Sundown makes quality stuff. I really can't afford it, but these two came from the Sundown yard sale site.
Oh yeah.
They did. So I got them for $249.99 a piece. And when they came, I couldn't tell any different from if they were new.
So, Justin, do you remember that 21-inch subwoofer that I built? The two of them, the dual 21-inch
yes,
with all the bracing, the immaculate.
Two 21-inch subwoofers in your home theater room.
Yeah, cool.
The dual. So I mentioned that not because of Sundown, but because I see David K in the chat, and David K has the one and only ever that I've ever sent out, and maybe one that I may ever send out, flat pack for a 21-inch. So he's going to be building one.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Using the same driver or a different driver?
As far as I know, the same driver.
That's the SB Audience, is that right?
Yeah, it was an SB Audience. But I mean, really, technically, as long as it fits in the hole, you could put anything, any 21-inch you want.
Awesome. Let's see how we got in the chat. We got color blindness. That's a new one on me. I haven't seen color blindness in the chat before. Good to see you. Dub team is here. Lieutenant Dan,
honestly, would you know if you saw color blindness or not? Or would you have someone else have to tell you? Someone else might have to tell you.
The true voice of reason is here. That is awesome. That's awesome. So lots of people here.
Oh, hey, before we get started, I need to say something to True Voice of Reason. Can I take 1 30-second aside?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
So True Voice of Reason. Last time we talked about the Burson audio amp and how I was confused because I wasn't really sure because it said 45 watt and then PC amp, like 45W PC. Anyway, later I scrolled all throughout their page and looked for the word watts. And guess what? It literally does say on their website 45 watts per channel. So on their own Burson audio website. So that, as far as I'm concerned, is the nail in the coffin. For me. So I don't think it was a miscommunication on my end. Oh, Joaquin. See?
Color blindness.
Just a little name change there. And we got a first-time commenter, been watching for a few months, Dill Pickle. What is the Dill Pickle? Since we're talking to Bass Dad, there's going to be a few dad jokes on this one right here. So, awesome.
Finally.
Okay. All right. So, let's start off with a good dad joke. Do any of you have good dad jokes to share since we have Bass Dad on?
Bass dad joke. I don't have any about bass because that would be awesome. Do you know any audio jokes? I don't know any audio jokes.
I don't know that. I know a few kind of dad and sound jokes. For example, I used to play the piano by ear, but now I use my hands.
Oh, I got one. What concert would cost you only 45 cents?
Oh, that would be 50 Cent and Nickelback, maybe?
Yeah, 50 Cent featuring Nickelback. That's exactly right. Dang.
Good job. Good job.
Oh,
All right, and
I
then
get along with.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got their dad joke?
I got one more. Just curiosity's sake. I want to know if two vegetarians get in an argument, is it still called beef?
Oh, I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me.
All right, we're gonna have to spread these out. Otherwise, it's gonna be a whole dad joke video. No one wants to see that.
Well, we wanted to have Base Dad on because we wanted to find out what Base Dad was up to, and so we chatted last night. He said, "What's the topic?" And I said, "You are the topic. We're going to spend the entire time talking about you." Anything you want to share, you can. We'll start asking questions, and I've got a question for you to start off with. I noticed on your channel very recently you built a lithium battery bank. Tell me about that lithium battery bank. What did you use, and on and on and on. So tell me as you know about lithium batteries.
Sure. So I have two ways of doing things. Either I do them with no research at all and just do it real quick and probably screw it up, or I really take months to figure out stuff. So that's what I did here. I started looking at lithium batteries on Amazon and used ones and on Marketplace, and they're just stupid high. They just cost more than I think they should. So I had saw a video of Hi-Fi Vega doing a one of the ones kind of like I did, and then I went to Battery Hookup and they had the cells for $5. So I bought 32 cells for under $200. And I bought 2 PCB boards from a guy, I can't remember his name, but he does them all the time. He's got a channel that's really cool, but they're 1,000 amps. And what they do is they're really cool because they keep everything spaced just perfectly. And I was kind of worried about that with like just some generic bus bars. And man, I mean, it couldn't have been simpler. It was like one of the easiest things I've ever done. You get the batteries, you balance them by just connecting a wire to each end of all of them, and then once you get them, you test them. Once you do that, you test them, put them in the PCB boards. It tells you exactly which way to put them, and that is basically it. You add a balancer if you want a balancer, and you got yourself a battery for under $200.
I was looking at Battery Hookup the other day, and I want to cool off Battery Hookup. I don't know if y'all have seen this or not. Let me see if I can share my screen without crashing my internet connection here. Let's share the entire screen number 2, share, and I'm going to add to the stream. This is something they sell at Battery Hookup. They call it the Super Beast. And so it's 48 headway cells. And so those cells are $5 each. And this thing's $225. So you can buy the Super Beast for less than you could buy the individual cells. And the problem with the Super Beast is it's a 24-volt setup. But allegedly, you just have to cut one of the bus bars, and it'll be a 12-volt setup.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, they have to be in cells, so you would think that you should be able. They're probably running. You should be able to change the way they run.
There's a guy on Facebook that's done it. I don't remember his name or whatever, but he cut one in half. It worked. It was great. I almost went this route, but I for my setup, longevity, I don't like the way the bus bars are, but it's an excellent deal. It really is. I don't think you're going to find a better deal.
I like that thing. But I have absolutely no use for it, but I like it.
It does look cool.
It does, yeah.
Okay, what is 225 divided by 48?
Oh man, if only we had a calculator nowadays.
Yeah, no. What are you doing giving me math?
$4.68. $4.68.
So it's actually
$4.69 really.
So instead of buying the headway cells for $5 each, you can buy this and they're cheaper. So you could take the headway cells out and throw away all the stuff and have less than $5 per cell. So we'll see how. I've got one on the way. It should be here Thursday, and I'm kind of
cool.
excited to give it a try. I think I'm going to put this on the test bench to start off with because I have some of the Down for Sound LTO batteries in my truck at the moment, and those are going to sit there until I'm able to do a rebuild. But I'm going to try to go this route. Do you remember the name of the website that sold that bus bar so I can pull it up? The PCB bus bar, so I can.
I don't remember it, but I'll get it for you. Just give me a second. Actually, I do. It's JAG 35. JAG.
JAG 35. That's it.
JAG 35. Yeah. And they've got several versions of them, like in different amperages.
Right. See if I can find.
Well, if you can you what was that, a 24 volt 48 amp hour, right?
Yes.
So if you change it to 12 volts, then you should have 96. Yeah, 96. Yeah, amp hour.
Oh wow. You could just sit and play all day for that with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, right? Because
those batteries are stout too. I mean, 96 amp hours out of those are it's different. You know, it really hangs tight.
If you want to buy one, I've got a discount code with battery hookup. So it's just DIY audio. I think it's DIY audio. I have to look it up to make sure. I think it's either 5 or 10% off. So if you want to buy one, you want 5% off, just type in DIY audio with them. And there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it was 96 amp hours. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because so this is the cool thing. And most people probably know this, but just for anyone that's not listening, if you wire batteries, you can wire batteries either in series or parallel. What's going to happen is you're either going to change your voltage or your amp hour. So if you wire batteries in series, you double your voltage, but you maintain the same amp hour. If you wire them in parallel, you maintain the same voltage and then double your amperage. So I know you know that, but just in case someone else is listening and doesn't know that, that's why we're saying it would be 96.
Yeah, thank you for that. Sometimes I forget things like that, you know, that you should explain that stuff. So thanks.
Our good friend Brian Steele has a question. And if anyone in the chat has an answer to this as well, feel free to answer it. Has anyone ever clamped their system when playing music as loud as you care to see how much current it draws? Now, I have put the handheld amp dyno on when playing music, and just regular music, it doesn't make so much power as test tones. But I've never just clamped it while playing regular music. In fact, I need to buy an AC, a DC clamp meter at some point so I can just clamp it and know. But no, I've not ever.
No, I've clamped mine, but not at full tilt. You know, I don't. I'm always in the process of doing something to mine, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But I would like to know.
So Johnny, that 6K that you're clamping with those NXD 512s, is that 6K on a test tone or just music? Because it's different, right? What you get out of a test tone when you're doing a burp for an SPL run versus playing music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it'll keep changing as you're playing the music. You know,
right?
You know,
right.
I saw people. By the way, this is kind of funny because I've seen people. We talked about last week. Last time we were on, about how to test amplifiers, and I it's kind of funny because when you watch like Amazon YouTube videos of people testing it, a lot of times you'll see them playing music, and you're like, well, that unfortunately is not accurate because we don't know what you're hitting at that point in time. So, yeah,
this is the JAG 35 bus bar. 1,000 amp capable. And how many cells does this hold?
32.
32. Okay.
If you look at the top there, you can see it's got like the plus and the minuses and the plus. I mean, it's almost idiot proof. It's so simple.
You have to solder. You have to solder those?
No. You can solder the little lugs at the top, but you don't have to. You don't have to use those.
Interesting.
What was the question, Justin?
Well, before I ask the question, for starters, let's say thank you to Baba for making it rain. We always appreciate those super chats. We always say, that's the sign we're doing right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you so much.
Well,
we lost Justin. Oh,
he's cutting in and out, isn't he?
We lost Justin. So we'll respond back to that and just say, absolutely. Thank you, Baba, for that. We absolutely love your guys' support. We thank you so much for it. And I know you guys come over from the Discord chat, so that's awesome too. So thank you for sharing that on Discord as well.
Yeah, I just got on Discord this week, and I've already got a lot of people on my chat there, and I appreciate all you guys. I know you're in the comments, so thanks.
All right, here's my question.
Back?
Now that I'm back. I'm back.
I'm going to send my internet man to Justin, said Andy.
I do need AT&T fiber is on my street, and so I need to switch or pay for a faster connection. So
it's a whole different world, man.
I think it's time. I think
this is the 500 kit, and my question is, how is this 500 kit different than the 1000? It's the same number of cells, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the same number of cells. I think the boards themselves are just beefier. I unfortunately I've not had the 500 kit, so I don't know. But from what I've watched the videos, and I think it's just beefier stuff. There's also
the copper
a 200
sticker.
amp one. Yeah, I think the copper sticker and stuff like that. But there's even a 200 amp one.
So it's like $160 for the cells, and then so like right at 190. Oh, hey, Get Some also sent us a nice little.
Oh yeah, what Baba said with the fist bump. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. So this one right here, the copper is 1 ounce copper, so it's
right.
It's just beefier, right? The other one was 2 ounce copper.
Yeah, it's just beefier. It's beefier. I think he started with 200, and then they got so popular that they came out with the other two.
Gotcha. I'm sorry, but did you guys read what Dub Team said? Team DMD. He says DIY modem as old as him.
I know that's not true because modems didn't exist in the 70s when I was born. So we got a donation for the Wi-Fi fund.
I think we need that.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate that a whole lot. We appreciate it a whole lot. So the 1000 amp cable just uses is twice as thick, right? Oh, David K. Thank you, David K.
Yeah, David K.
I appreciate the super chat. And yes, I'm still using carrier pigeon.
Oh man, they got the jokes on you today, dude.
They're burning you, man.
You're gonna have to get new internet now.
It's getting time to upgrade. Baba is correct. Back then they did have 400 baud modems, but no one had them because computers were so rare then. So
it's so expensive. Yeah, so expensive and big. And
so here's the question I've got for you, Base Dad. So $60 for the 1000 amp, and how much was the 500 amp? $29. So really
$20 in between them.
Yeah. So obviously, I think it's worth it to go for the bigger one. I think.
Yeah, man. I always plan ahead, no matter what. I always get what the most is I think I'll ever use because I don't like doing stuff twice.
No, and I mean it's really not that much of a difference. You might as well.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
That's how I am with wire. When I first started getting into this stuff and I ran some wire in my truck, I said, you know what? I'm just going to get some 0 gauge. I didn't need 0 gauge. I could have made 4 gauge work. And that 0 gauge wire can handle 300 amps of current for the length of run that I've got. And when I was doing upgrades, I didn't have to take everything apart, the door seals and everything, and run another wire. And sometimes it just makes sense especially if you know down the road you're going to go bigger, you might as well. But what I was thinking is you buy the Super Beast and you get some of these, because what I like about these is it fits into more of a battery form factor, and put them in a case or something. And I think it looks better because I think the Super Beast would not look good in a car.
No, that's what my thing was. That's why I didn't buy it, because I just didn't like the way it looked. I wanted it to kind of look more put together. At the end, the end to look better, and it does. But the Super Beast is a good deal, like you said. Even if you buy it and just toss the bus bars,
right?
Definitely worth it.
So really,
here's a question.
So here, wait, let me. So really, really, you would only do this if you wanted something either smaller, if I'm understanding you, or if you want something more custom, because the Super Beast is only $225, and that's 1.23 kilowatts. And the other one was $60, and then you have to buy the bars, and then what was it, $5? So $160 plus 60, so you're like at $220 plus whatever the bars are. So you might as well. I'm not saying don't DIY. Obviously, we're DIY people, but you know what I'm saying. It makes the most sense.
Now that they have the 1,000 amp ones back in stock, I'm going to order some. Hopefully, they won't be gone before the before the stream's over.
They were really quick about shipping too. It didn't take long. I think I ordered them on a Thursday, and they were here the next week, like the end of next week. So
here's a technical question for you.
Okay.
A lot of these companies sell a BMS, but everyone who builds these and puts them on YouTube doesn't use a BMS. They use a balancer. Do I need a BMS or do I need to use a balancer?
I thought they were the same thing.
Well, BMS is battery management system,
not.
so that also, because the BMS does also overcharging protection.
Okay, all right, yeah. So I mean, I think really what you're saying is I think the BMS does what a balancer does. So yeah, I think you do need a balancer because it's in your car. You're riding around with it. I'd hate for one of them cells to blow up on me. So definitely get a balancer. But they've got BMSs that have the overcharge protection. They even have some that are Bluetooth, and you can look at them on an app on your phone and kind of manage your battery that way. Kind of the same way the U-Start does with the Bluetooth.
Because some BMSs, or maybe all of them, they have a balancer on them, don't they?
Right. Yeah. So a BMS is a balancer plus other stuff, like you said, overcharge protection and some other things. You just pick options.
The BMS will limit the current going in and the current going out.
Yeah.
And that I think is the key, because if you want to burst to 400 amps and you've got a 200 amp BMS, it's not going to do it. And if you've got a 300 amp alternator and a 200 amp BMS, then you've got 100 amps of alternator power. They're just going to do nothing. So I'm thinking skip the BMS and go with a load balancer unless you want to spend a lot of money on a BMS.
That makes sense.
If you buy a 300 amp BMS, it'll be the single most expensive component in your DIY battery. Right, the BMS isn't active; it just balances.
Yeah, this is a little dirty because I had it out in my garage, but I bought this from Harbor Freight. This little box here.
Oh yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, box. Yeah, and it's just exactly the right size for this thing. It was like $10, and eventually I'm gonna just drill a couple holes through the top and push a couple of 0 gauge wires through it with some lugs on it, and that's where it'll be. But I built this thing. I have not charged it since I built it, and let's see. We can. It's hard to handle, but I don't know if you can see it. It's at 13.2. It was at 13.3 the day I built it.
Sweet.
And charged it. So, yeah, it's held up really well. I haven't charged it, and I haven't even used it to power anything yet.
So our friend Andy here, who has the ultimate studio really for live streams, thinks you're just cool too. So I like the marble stuff back there. That's nice.
I have something to say to Andy.
Manil here.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
wow.
And you can lift it too.
So, I know. I was just gonna say that. Man, he's strong enough.
I'm worthy.
All right. Let me say something to live in loud with Andy. So Andy,
What's up, Andy?
This is a question for you. Well, statement, question, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if Justin even knows this, but me and Base Dad found out that we live near each other, not too far, and so we met up for lunch. We ate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Good barbecue. Yeah, we ate some awesome chicken. I got the non-spicy. He got the ridiculous spicy.
Did you go to Central Barbecue? Is that where you went?
No, we went to Hattie B's.
Hattie B's, yeah.
Hattie B's. That's from up in your neighborhood, Justin.
I've never been there. Yeah, it's from Nashville, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Nashville chicken. And so, anyway, we got to talking about doing a collaboration together. And so, what we're thinking about doing is a custom subwoofer box in the spirit of like car audio fabrication, something really, really cool looking. So two things. One, I want you guys to post some pictures sometime during the stream, not pictures, but links to pictures or whatever, that you have ideas that we might make it look like. Who knows how extravagant we're going to go. Two,
Hey, that's a good idea.
We've been thinking about subwoofers. So we were thinking maybe either Dayton Audio or Kicker. So I want to know what Andy has to say about that. And if it's Kicker, it'll probably be one of the cheaper ones, you know. So something to begin with, one of their
Kicker,
beginner
you gotta
lines.
do the 50th anniversary gold letters.
Yeah, I was gonna say Andy.
I'm not doing those gold letters. No,
Andy should send us a couple of those gold letters. I would like to look at those.
Yeah. Well, Andy doesn't do anything with. I mean, I guess he does have Kicker connections probably somehow, but he doesn't work for Kicker. So,
No,
but yeah,
he's kicker rich.
Kicker for the win. Period. See, I was thinking the Ultimax because that's pretty cool. Toyd needs some gold letter 12s and SA12 Rev 2. So I'm not sure what the SA12. I'm guessing that's an amplifier.
It's a Sundown, isn't it?
Oh, Sundown Audio 12. So the 12-inch subwoofer probably. Sundown Audio 12 Reversion 2. That makes sense.
I wasn't aware of y'all had been,
back here.
Well, then living loud with Andy.
See what y'all can build together.
If
Andy,
you're promoting Kicker, you need to give us some ideas of what you think will make Kicker proud. I want to hear, because we want this to be cosmetically beautiful. We don't want it to look like Justin in the end. I'm sorry, John, I'm just kidding.
I would love it to be a Kicker. You know, I think for a lot of people, man, that's one of their first subwoofers. I know it was one of mine, and they've been around a long time, man. It's just like they're part of the culture, you know. So
yes, I am streaming
from the Tonight Show. I saw your show last week. It looked like you were getting arrested or something with the lights in the back.
Yeah. I can do least lights. Yeah, that's. And someone had asked a question. I thought I started, but I must have lost it. And the question someone had asked earlier, find it again, and I'd love to know y'all's answer to this question. And it was something along the lines of, how low does a subwoofer need to play, or how low do you need a subwoofer to play? So how low should a subwoofer go?
Depends on what you're doing with it, what you want it to do. You know, I've seen people play at 10 hertz and 15 hertz, and I mean, I guess it just depends on what you want. I don't want that because I like my heart to stay in my chest. But
I don't know. When I first started doing this stuff, I got into it because I wanted to build a home theater subwoofer, and you tend to tune a home theater subwoofer lower because the cabin gain is going to help you out more in a car. And so I've kind of had to readjust to the car subwoofer. A few years ago, when I put a 10-inch Ultimax on the back seat of my truck, I ended up tuning that thing to about 25 hertz, and it was just, I loved it. It was great. So I like them a little bit lower than most people do. Mullen says we need a 20 hertz wind machine. So,
yeah, the lower the hertz, the more wind you're going to get for sure.
25 hertz, 30 hertz. It's all over. There is not one. We have everywhere from 1 hertz all the way up to 30 hertz.
I kind of like my boxes tuned low, but I actually like my bass probably in the higher area, like 40, somewhere like that.
You know, the tuning, the limiting factor is going to be cramming the port in the box. Because as you get lower, the port's got to get longer, holding everything else constant. And that's always the limit. You know, you got this 85-foot long port wrapping around the inside of a 2 cubic foot box so you can tune to 10 hertz. It's not practical. And that's really what really drives it, in my opinion. So you tune it as low as you can, given the space constraints you've got.
Sure.
Do you know anything about Bear Vids Challenge? I don't know what that is.
Bear Vids is a guy he is a great amp repair guy, and he just knows so much.
But I mean, what's his challenge? So, do you know what his?
I don't know what the challenge is. I don't know. He's doing some different stuff on his channel. So, I'd like to find out. You know what it is, Justin?
Yes, I do. So, if you go back a few weeks, he posted a video where he basically said, "Here is the space." And here is the driver. It's a small driver, right? A very small driver, and not a very big space. And he said, go crazy, give me your best possible design, and we'll see which design is best. And so people are designing like horns and weird shaped ports and stuff like that, and trying all these kind of tricks. And so he's had some really creative people contribute to that challenge. And I was watching it and realized that I'm not anywhere near as creative as the people who have already contributed. So rather than just getting my rear end stomped in his challenge, I'm going to sit back and enjoy it with the rest of you. Now, Nick has the creativity to actually probably pull that off, but I don't think I do.
I don't think I have the time, but that would be really cool.
It's worth watching. It's some really cool stuff. Check him out. Bear Vids. Sam's his name. He's the guy who does the amp repair live and live stream his amp repairs.
I do though. I looked at some of his thumbnails, and I really think his name should be changed to Clothed Vids, because there is no bear vid anywhere.
Really? I thought that he was like a grizzly or something, or I mean, a polar, right? He's not a bear?
Bear. No, I meant like clothes, because he's not bare naked.
Fair enough.
Did you want him to be?
No, just saying. But when someone's telling me to look up Bear Vids challenge, I'm going like, uh-oh, this has not become a family-friendly show anymore.
Hey, if I can, I'm going to share my screen for just 1 second, guys.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nick will entertain everybody with dad jokes while you're getting that ready. Nick, you got some more dad jokes?
Yes. So my question is, did you hear about the rumor about butter?
No, I haven't.
Well, I'm not going to go spreading it.
You know what I can't believe? I can't believe that after all that crap, those two are still together. After all the crap that went between those two, they're still together. My butt cheeks.
I'm not answering this.
Oh. I was like, what two?
All right.
Who are we talking? I thought we were talking Bear Vids again. I was like, what happened? Tell me more. That's a good one.
That is. So this is the balancer that I use. You can see they got a whole bunch of different ones down here that do a whole bunch of different things. This one, I picked this one because it came with a case. It had like a nice little acrylic case that went around it. And I don't know why. It was just felt a little more solid, but this one's $25 and it does a heck of a job. So you don't have to get that one. There's a lot of them. It is the one I use. Shoot. I can verify that it works. Can
I tell you, I can actually, sometimes I have a sixth sense about these things, and I bet you ordered that on about January 29th this year.
Mm-hmm. Probably because it says I just ordered it on January 29th.
Oh,
but I did.
So
I did.
So that says 3S, 4S, 5A active equalizer. So 3S, 4S, 5A, what does that designation mean?
So you see, it goes up with the wires. So there's more wires, but they do more. Like, I don't know what they all do because I've only dealt with the 3S ones and the 4S ones, but I know that there's a lot more to hook up there. Is that not
standing for series? Like how many you can put in a series? Like three in a series?
It may be it. It may just handle bigger batteries. I don't know. I don't want to say.
Yeah, three cells in a series is what Wolfie said. Three cells in a series.
So 3S means 3 cells in series.
Right.
And then 5 amp.
So there's a 17S.
Okay.
So they go up pretty big.
Interesting.
They also have a 10% coupon right now. So.
Oh, Brian Steele actually said he submitted a quarter wave bass whistle design for fun.
Nice.
I've never heard of a bass whistle. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that sounds kind of cool.
So, one time I went to Midwest Audio Fest, and this guy came. It's kind of funny. He designed Midwest Audio Fest used to always do it in the same room. This is big old thing. And he designed this subwoofer box that was designed like the shape of the room, almost the whole front wall, but low to the ground. And he made it out of cardboard because he couldn't take it any other way in. So, it did sound, not the greatest, but it was pretty darn cool just to see him like build this whole subwoofer throughout the show and then throw, subwoofer enclosure, throw the box in there. It was great.
So a transmission line is a bass
transmission
whistle.
line.
Gotcha.
boy.
I've heard of that. Awesome.
Gotcha. I bet a horn would be good for that little 2-inch though.
Probably so. Yeah, I'd like to see what Brian still submits. Brian's got some fantastic skills, so it'd be kind of cool to see how his performs.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
all right, back to the topic at hand. Base Dad, I know you've been working on some upgrades to your vehicle. What are you building out right now besides the batteries that we've spent some time talking about?
Sure. So I wasn't as wise as you. When I started on my truck, I did not run 0 gauge. I ran like 4 gauge, and on top of it, it was like CCA wire because I didn't think I would ever put anything in there more than like 110 or something. So I just bought whatever they had at this, at the Best Buy or whatever. But I caught the base bug. So I had a couple of 10s in there and a kicker setup with a kicker amp, and I loved it. It sounded great, but I just wanted some more. And I finally realized that I just can't get it unless I have bigger subwoofers. And with that design, I could only do like five mounting depth under the seat. And
Right.
I've got a kid, so I can't get rid of the back seat. So I kept thinking, what am I going to do? Well, I got this truck that I didn't really pay a lot of money for. I kind of got a deal on it, and I don't ever see me selling it. So I'm like, all right, we're just going to cut the back. My wife's like, are you crazy? And I'm like, it's my truck, and I want to, I just want it to sound the way I do, and I'm not going to get rid of it. So, yeah. So I started getting designs for a blow-through box. Go ahead.
You're doing a blow through.
I am. I'm doing a blow-through.
You're going full send. You're going for it.
Yeah, I'm going.
No.
Man.
I just wanted to verify you are doing a blow through.
Yeah, I am. I had to think about it. It's a hard decision to cut your truck in half, but I'm going to do it. And so I started building a box, and I'm working on that now. I don't think I have any pictures of that, but these two 15s are going in there, and then I've got I just ordered a JP63, and that is going in there, and that thing is a beast. We've got all the seats out of it because we also bought a leather kit from eBay to upgrade the interior, and now I'm going to right now we're in the process of like redoing all the wiring and getting it into the bed of the truck. So I'm going to have the blow through box in there going through the back. All the amps and everything are going to be a rack on the backside of the box. It's quite a change from what I had before. So I mean, if you've been watching my channel, it's crazy. We've added a lithium battery. I've got 2 of those U-Start super caps, ultra caps that I got. The ones that everybody used to know they're selling like B stock or whatever. So I got a couple of those.
Right.
I'm going to have a couple of these batteries. Yeah, it's just nuts.
Sounds like SJC wants you to do more. He wants you to do, sounds like an isobaric configuration.
He's doing. Where does he say that?
He says, how about 12 kicker golds and a clamshell design?
Man, I actually thought about like buying $100 subwoofers or something and doing one of those type things or whatever. But yeah, it's more. I've already got myself into more than I can do as quick as I wish I could.
So I think Baba's got a really good question because I actually have the same question too. He said, I've always meant to ask, when doing a blow through, aren't there any concerns with the structural integrity of the cab?
Yeah, so I didn't know that either. So the guy who gave me the design for the box after the fact is like, hey, you gotta come up with some tubes, to hold
Support.
everything up. Yeah, for support. So we'll be fabricating some skeletons, some frame stuff there to hold up the middle of the truck to make sure it doesn't flop around or anything like that.
I like the idea of underseat subs even more now.
And they're great. Go ahead.
What I'm curious about with the blow through is, well, first of all, how do you keep water from getting in? And second, what about road noise?
Yeah,
the,
that's
because
good
the
point.
water.
because I mean I mean, you use the accordion thing, right? But like, you got to keep water from getting in. You got to keep it watertight.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. You just got to put your gaskets in there right. I've got a fiberglass lid on my bed, so that it's already dry. I mean, I never get any water in the bed, so the only place I really have to worry about is in the gap between the cab and the bed, and the gap right there. So I think that accordion gasket will take care of it. They sell that right on Amazon. I mean, it's just a few bucks. The thing about
the road
Go
noise.
ahead.
What about the road noise?
Yeah, I don't know what you do about that. I'm gonna put a bunch of like Dynomat and stuff in there on both sides and see if we can't drown it out. I'm hoping that my subwoofers are so loud that I don't hear any of that.
There you go.
That's kind of the point,
Right.
Yeah, Wolfie has a good idea too. He says glass resin the box as well in the gap, or even
Sounds good.
And I'm assuming by glass resin he's talking about like a fiberglass, right?
Yeah, he is like Bondo glass or one of those things.
Okay, yeah.
You can just use the
that's a
resin
good idea.
from, just the resin will really help a lot, right?
Oh,
because
that
you can
makes sense.
waterproof
Yeah, so
something
don't
with just the
do
resin.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think it will help. I was going to do like bed liner and stuff on the at least just the part that's going through the wall, but even that fiberglass sounds like a great idea.
No, you worry about that after you install the system. Yeah, you got the order of operations wrong.
I'll be the first one to preach to somebody. They need to come up with a plan before they do a system. I also tell people to unhook their batteries before they do stuff and everything else, but different rules for me.
It's funny I say that.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I actually got in trouble because I taught people how to connect a power supply inside a house, for amplifiers, for like when you want like a bigger power supply for an amplifier. And people laughed at me because I told them to make sure the cord was unplugged from the wall before they cut it. But I'm like, dude, I don't know how many people are actually going to do that. So I was going to be like, oh! Someone will do that for sure. Common sense isn't always common.
Yeah, if it can be done, somebody will do it.
Well, the thing about in a car, the odds of you hurting yourself with a 12-volt system are really low. But, the odds of dropping a wrench that lands on the positive and negative battery terminals is pretty damn high. Everyone who's done any work on a car has done it, right?
Yeah, if it like I said, if it can happen, somebody will do it. But like, it's not so much worried about myself. It's your stuff, man. And once you fry your stuff, like you can't unfry it,
Right. You can't unfry it.
You can't unfry it. Yeah,
which is kind of funny. Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you keep going.
You're good. No, I was just gonna say when you do it and it's somebody who knows better, it's just like, man, like there's no worse feeling.
So I've never thought of this before, but there used to be an electronics store called Fry's, and now I realize how it's kind of funny now that I think about it.
So this is what's
Fry's.
I just popped up on the screen. This is what's in the back seat area of my truck, on the back seat floorboard, and I built a piece of acrylic to lay on top of this. You can see some little holes where it screws in. And the reason why I did that was because I started putting this together, and then I realized, you know what? I can just see someone riding in the truck with me and throwing a beer can behind the seat and landing in between those two bus bars. Ooh. And how long will it take the beer can to melt is my question. And so you've got to, you got to be safe. You've got to unhook things before you go tearing into stuff. So,
do they sell any? I know at least a lot of them come with plastic over the top that you can kind of put over the top so that nothing can connect. Do they sell anything like that?
I just built one. I had some. Well, let's see if I can find it. I had a piece of. Here it is. I had a piece of acrylic laying around, and I just cut it out and rounded off the corners and threw it on top of there. So nice and safe. Yeah.
I actually saw that in your last video, but I just was wondering, in general. But you had other power connectors laying out there too, didn't you?
Oh yeah, yeah, just some fuses and stuff. They've all got covers on them, so it should be perfectly
do?
safe.
What thickness is that acrylic there, Justin?
That's just 1/4 inch.
1/4 inch.
Yep.
I like it. I like the way it looks. You know, I thought about doing that on my amp board, like doing an acrylic overlay on it, just to keep everything safe since it is technically outside of my truck.
And you know, a 1/4 inch acrylic isn't that expensive, right? 1/2 inch acrylic
Right.
starts to get pricey. 3/4 inch acrylic must be made out of gold, because that stuff gets really expensive.
What do you use on subs on the 3/4?
I've
you wanna
never
have a
used
window on a
any
sub
acrylic
box?
on a sub box, but I would go with 3/4 probably. And if the window was
So
bigger,
that-
I might consider finding something thicker. So
Wow.
So I would use acrylic, but I wouldn't use it in the traditional sense. So what a lot of people do with acrylic is they show like something inside the box, right? Like you can see the motor structure or something of that nature. I don't like that because the cost of acrylic, like you said, is astronomical when we start going up. Even 1/4 after 1/4 inch, it starts just, just starts going crazy for price. Unless you can find somewhere that you can get it cheap, it's just not really worth it, in my opinion. Although it does look cool. I always wondered why people don't do something like epoxy now. Epoxy would be a great substitute, I would imagine.
I've been wondering about that. How hard would it be to make the entire enclosure out of epoxy?
Well,
I
that would be
never
kind of
even
hard.
Considered that.
Yeah, I think that would be a cool idea. Because, I mean, you have, if you want something clear, you want 1/2 inch, just get some of that deep pour epoxy. It's still expensive, but it's not as expensive as acrylic still.
All right, y'all. I do believe this is a Star Trek reference. Does anybody remember where the Star Trek reference of transparent aluminum?
Aluminium.
Isn't that a Star Trek reference, y'all? The movie where they stole the Klingon warbird and went back in time to capture some whales. They used transparent aluminum to build the fish tank for the whales. So that's your really deep old Star Trek reference from the 80s.
Is that the Voyage Home or something?
Yeah, I think so. The Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Yes, that is it.
Well, they actually say there is. So I just looked up on Google and they say there actually is aluminum oxynitride, which is transparent aluminum.
I stand corrected then. It wasn't a Star Trek reference. I didn't know that was real.
I didn't know it was real either until right now. This is why we have awesome viewers, right? Because they teach us stuff that we're like, I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty cool. I wonder how expensive that aluminum oxynitride, I wonder how expensive that is.
I get my best advice from like Facebook groups and these little chats. Things I don't even think of. This one guy, what is it, Mullins Performance Audio, saying,
"Oh yeah,
when it's
yes,
thick epoxy, pour slabs, cut to shape." Sounds
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too. So this is what he's saying right here. This guy said that the transparent aluminum, 1.6 inches thick, right? Which is not that, what, like a little over 1.5 inches thick, can stop a 50 caliber rifle round.
Wow.
Not even 3.7 inch of traditional bulletproof glass can do that. Now I want some transparent aluminum. Thanks a lot, whoever said that. Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah, well, we might have to try that out.
I'm gonna answer this question right here from Sean Lynn. What's my end goal for Ram truck? So eventually, my goal is to rebuild that amp rack and move the amps to a custom center console, and then have room on the back for basically the ultimate YouTube test bench. Be able to slide in 412s, 215s, 218s, and if someone sends me subwoofers to test, to be able to slide them in and hook them up quickly and meter them and play around with them and see what they do. But I'd love to get like 412s or 215s back there as for my main setup. So that's what I'm thinking.
You took out your back seat, right?
Yes, I did, which was a whole lot more work than I thought it was to be.
Yes, mine was too.
Because you have to take seat belts out to get the back seat out.
Some of those
and of course, I totally
like
removed the back seat, so all the seat belts are. Yeah, All the seat belts are out. There are no seat belts in it. They're all in storage if I ever have to put them back in. And putting a flat floor in the back was far more work than I thought it'd be. I think I just throw some plywood back there and bolt it down, but it took forever. So it derailed me for a while trying to get that done.
So I know Ford, for example, uses special like heads for the seatbelt bolts. Did the Dodge do that too?
It's a Torx bit.
Yeah, I think everybody
like
uses a Torx bit for
like a T45.
It is just a Torx bit. Yeah, I think that's all
Yep.
Ford used too. But still, like, no one has that in their toolbox. Well, mechanics maybe, but normal people don't have that.
Well,
I went to Harbor Freight and bought a set.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of them because it's not the first seatbelt I took out, but one of the bolts in there was literally like this long, and somebody had, and I'm guessing they did this at the factory, had put like some what is that stuff that they put on there? The
Loctite.
The glue Loctite.
Loctite?
Yeah, put some Loctite on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I had my Cobalt, Impact, the big one, the one you take tires off with.
Yeah.
Like on that for
24
30
volts.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and could not get it off. I mean, it just took forever to get that one out. I was so mad.
So I've got,
this is where the grinder comes
Yeah.
When I first started tinkering around with this stuff and knew I would need to pull the back seat, I just went to Harbor Freight and bought a set of Torx bits. And I don't know if it's the fact that they're Harbor Freight or what, but it doesn't fit perfectly. And so it's kind of like you got to hold it in while you twist it to make sure you get a good bite out. And if you don't, you round it off. And I rounded a couple off. I had to grab the vice grips and clamp down the vice grips and get them out. So it was a difficult process, but that's just part of it. You hope you have time to get it done before you got to go somewhere in the truck.
Right. I've got all my seats out, so I've got like one seat, and that's my car. That's the one I drive. So I've had to ride a couple of places with one seat in there. It's really strange.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta have the Ugga Duggas.
Ugga Dugga. Milwaukee's the way to go.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee. I said years ago that when I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to reward myself by buying all Milwaukee tools. Getting closer.
I like that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who can afford it all though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Milwaukee or DeWalt? Which one would you rather have? Let's get a real fight going in the comments here. Base Dad, Milwaukee or DeWalt?
I would probably go with Milwaukee. I would have went with DeWalt, like 20 years ago, but Milwaukee now. Somebody's asking me what subs I'm running. Wolfie Sauce. I'm doing the right now. I'm doing the Sundown SA V2s is what I'm going to have. I was running massive audio Hippo XLs, the 12s, and I have no complaints about those subs. I just wanted to go to 15s just to see what that's like. I wanted to buy the ZV6s, but I mean, I'm not ready to sell my kid yet.
So I'm gonna go in this right now. I'm gonna go DeWalt, and here's the reason why. I like Milwaukee. My dad has Milwaukee. I don't have any problems with the Milwaukee, and I think people could be happy with either one. But Milwaukee, typically, most of their tools run off 12 volts, where DeWalt is all off 20, and now even their flex volt can go off of 60 volts now. So they can create a lot more theoretical power. And even if they don't, so that's kind of like where I'm at with it. I like DeWalt. I have a bunch of DeWalt, and plus Baba's on my side, so I know I'm winning.
The Cobalt tools from Lowe's. My brother is doing some work on his deck, and he went and just bought the whole $500 set of the Cobalt stuff. Those 24-volt Cobalts. He loves them. He bought one of those little small diameter circular saws, and he says that thing will just tear through plywood like it's nothing. So he's really thrilled with those 4-volt Cobalt.
I've got one of
you
those.
have, Base Dad?
Yeah, I've got one of the little saws that you're talking about, and I've got a hammer drill. I've got a few Cobalt things. I hate it because I've kind of mixed up my environment. I wish I just got all the same stuff, so I have to have a few chargers. But I mean, the Cobalt stuff's solid, man. It's good stuff. It really is. Sometimes it can be a little pricey for something you're not, that may not be so mainstream. But I mean, it's solid stuff.
By the way, I do stand corrected because they are right. Milwaukee does make a lot of 18 volt as well now. Which is true. I'm used to seeing most of those little 12 volts with the little batteries in them. And that's true. But still, 60 volts is still more than 18
My
volts.
most used tool is a 12 volt screwdriver from Harbor Freight, because when you're taking apart a dash or something like that, you don't want to go in there with your impact and go ugga dugga all day long, because you're going to rip things apart inside the dash. And it's lightweight. It's perfect for working on light fixtures in the house or something where you're holding them above your head, so you don't have this big 18 or 24 volt tool. It's just a little bit lightweight 12 volt. And so I'd like to get into the M12 line just for that reason, because it's nice to have a tool that's not heavy and bulky, that has plenty of power. So we got a comment here. Someone has done a deeper dive while we were on the air, and the transparent aluminum is just a hypothetical. So it's not a real. It's not real.
Not a real thing. Yeah.
I'm going to look it up
It
because
is from Star Trek. It's not real.
I mean, I
While you're looking that up,
when they said it was real, I believed it, but I was like, man, I don't know about that.
I don't know, man.
while we're looking
Wikipedia
that
is
up,
always
Michael
right.
here has a question. Base Dad, you might be able to answer this. If I have a D1 sub and 2 amps linked together, what ohm loads can I use? So that is a D1,
a D1 sub. What
dual 1 ohm
what
sub?
amps are they? Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter what amps they are. I mean, you can use any ohm load that's down. So here's the thing: when you link 2 amps together, they split the ohm load, right? So if you've got one running at 1 or one running, if your final impedance is 1, then you've got one giving you a half and the other one giving you a half. So you got to consider that. Like, are they able to do a half ohm? So if your amps are able to do a half ohm, then you're good. But if you're, running some that aren't, then you don't need to do that. You don't need to go below your final impedance of 2 ohms.
The way I've always understood it is if you're strapping 2 amps together or linking them together, you're basically bridging a 2-channel amp for all practical purposes. And typically, most 1 ohm stable amps wouldn't be 1 ohm stable if they were bridged; they'd be 2 ohm stable. So
right, you're exactly right.
So 2 things. First,
and
Sean Lynn.
the forever debate about the transmission
go
control keeps going. It's hilarious. So
about the aluminum.
Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. 2 things. One, supposedly aluminum nitrate or whatever. Oxynitrate is real. So I don't know. You guys can fight about that in the past. Now, the second thing is Sean Lynn sounds like my type of guy, because he says, I got a Bauer rotary tool from Harbor Freight to port a Predator 212 cylinder head, and it worked well for that. And I got to tell you, I have like 4 or 5 Predator 212s. I got a Predator 224, all of them running on my go-karts. So,
Yeah, we talked about this over lunch, didn't we?
We did, yeah. So
yeah.
I'm with you, Sean Lynn. Although I'm not sure about the Bauer, but I'm with you at least on the Predator.
Yeah, Predator engines
without
are
Harbor
good.
Freight.
Yeah, they're good. They get a bad rap, but for $100, you can get a sideways engine for $100. Ready to go, everything on it. You can't. I mean, it's cheaper than the sum of its parts. You can't even buy the stuff to make it for that. It's crazy.
All right.
I guess I got to talk to Living Loud with Andy after the show. He said he has to talk to me about this kicker thing. He said he doesn't trust us, Base Dad. He doesn't trust us to do a good enough job. Did you hear that? He's basically like, You know what? I just want you to know that you guys are going to suck this up. So let me talk to you first.
He said that to you. He didn't say it to me.
No, he said that to both of us. I said both of us were making. And Mullen, the answer is yes.
He's got my number.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the Walmart Kicker 12s.
Yeah, the Walmart. What are those? The Comp Cs?
I have no idea. The problem is everything is a comp with Kicker. I have no idea which comp is what anymore.
They are a little confusing about what is what, but.
Okay, so I was confused for a while on how Kicker names their subwoofers. Comp is what they use for the round ones, right? That's that's the way to think about it.
Solo or they're square
until you get to like high EQ class. So right.
So all of them are competition drivers.
Thing,
what?
Yeah, all the lower ones
are competition. I think comp stood for component originally. Maybe. Someone in the chat verify if I'm right or not. Comp stood for component initially, right? The comp wasn't competition. Comp was the component driver. Yeah, they've been using that nomenclature since like the early 1980s when they first started selling the individual drivers as components. I don't miss the Kicker Unmasked, y'all. Even if I'm not in the chatting, I'm there.
So I'm going to talk to Timothy real quick. Timothy says, hey, Walmart has everything, American-based kicker, everything, just order online. So you got to be careful with Walmart's ordering online because Walmart's ordering online has basically just become like a marketplace similar to a lot of it. Now, some of the stuff is actually sold in Walmart stores. You can pick up and everything. But a lot of it's like just drop ship, right? Like they just get a certain percentage of you ordering it from their website, and it doesn't, like their hands are off of it.
Almost all of it is. Anything that's there that you wouldn't see in the store, like American Base, they don't sell American Base in the store. That's just some guy who's drop shipping it, like you said. And the prices are usually higher and the quality is bad and you can't return it if anything goes wrong with it.
Yeah, Walmart is definitely now Amazon. Their website. Not Walmart.
Right. Yeah, the website. I wouldn't give them that much praise for that website.
Well, it's the Walmart of Amazon.
Yeah, right. Walmart of Amazon. That's funny. That's a good one. Hey, I'm gonna share something real quick. It's
excellent.
You asked me earlier, like stuff I was working
ready?
on.
Oh no! Living Loud with wait, real quick before we do this. Living Loud with Andy said you're wrong. Comp does mean competition. Oh,
okay.
Which, by the way, I had no idea. What you said really had me believing it all the way. I was
it sounded like you knew what you were talking about.
It really did. I really believed everything you said. Well, that's just. I was like, dang.
I don't know if I trust you anymore.
I could have sworn that I heard Steve Irby himself say that on one of the Kicker Unmasked shows. I could be wrong. I've been wrong.
You know what?
But let's forget about me and my wrongness.
Wait,
let's talk about
real quick. We need to find out. We need to find out.
You said it with such authority.
Or Justin? Yeah.
Well,
now I want to know. Now I got to go to Steve himself.
You just say everything with authority and everyone believes you and you go on with life. What have we got here on the screen here? We've got some
nobody.
We got some change the subject here, y'all. We're going to change the subject.
All right. So what we got here, this is not done, obviously. It's lacking wires and some other stuff, but it's a rough draft of what we're doing. This is going to be the amp rack in my truck. So I've got two dual JP8s. Justin, I know you know what that's like because you have two. I've been watching what you're doing. I really have been keeping up with you, man. And it looks good what you got going. But I've got the two JP8s, and then this SMD distribution block. I've got an SMD fuse block, a fuse block coming, and it's like a half fuse, half distribution block because this thing has 3 inputs, so it's got 3 grounds and three powers, and that's just a lot coming off of there. So I'm gonna have its own block, and then this guy, the one in the middle, is my JL Audio TWK D8, and that's really cool because it's got a digital input. That's the only input it has. It's just an optical in on it, and then it's got I think eight RCA outs, but one of the Atoto radios I have has a optical out on it, and I've always had a lot of engine noise in that Ford, and I'm hoping and I'm thinking that eliminating the RCA jacks will eliminate that engine noise.
Yeah, from the head unit to the it's good. It's a good idea.
So here's a question for you. Those JL Audio DSPs, I've always pronounced them tweak.
I'd say that too. No. I almost said it just now, but I was like, I don't know if that's what they're called, and I don't want to get drug in the comments. So,
well, I did it for you, so there you go. This is drag
right.
Justin in the comments. I've always referred to it as the tweak. I don't know why. TWK.
That's what it looks
tweak.
like.
We're gonna plug it in and tweak our system.
That's what it looks like.
Which Atoto do you have that has the optical out? You have an Atoto head with the optical out. Which one?
If you've been to my channel, I think one of the last videos I did was a S8 review. I have an S8, a Generation 2, and it's a different kind of head unit. I mean, I like it. I like it because I'm an audio nerd, but I mean, it's like having an Android tablet for a head unit. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you buy one,
Right.
I've got Atoto sent me a, I think it's the F7. Is that it? Their other one, their low end one.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
the
F7 XE.
Yeah, it runs on Linux. I'll be doing a review of that, I think, next week or something. I if you want a radio like that, but you don't have to deal with all the computer stuff, that'd probably be the one to go with.
So funny because we've all reviewed, me and Justin both have reviewed an Atoto Linux based one, and I actually during my review I said, you know, this is Linux based, not Android based. So, you know, hopefully the longevity will be longer, right? And of course, one of the first comments is Android is Linux based. And I'm like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Stop it. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they're just picking at you because, I mean, it's like saying Windows is DOS based or whatever. I mean, everybody knows that. I mean, it doesn't, you know, that's not what you see. But, yeah.
Well, it's you know, with the version that they're running on that F7 unit, like virtually no resources are being used. Where when you're talking about that Android head unit, like all the resources are being used. So you always get concerned of how long it'll last before the resources can't keep up with the radio anymore, right? Goes so real slow.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And I got the one that had the most memory and the most storage, so hopefully it won't do that. But man, I just think that they make a good solid unit for what it costs. You know, hands down, for what it costs, it's a good unit. Anything in a Pioneer or Alpine is going to cost you 2 or 3 times as much. But it is, like you said, it'll get bogged down from having too many things going on at once. And you don't really use it. You just don't. Like, I don't think most people's going to use the stuff that it can do. Like at first I was like, oh, I can watch YouTube or I can do this or I can do this while I'm driving. I don't do anything but use the Apple, the CarPlay, you know, since I've gotten used to it, I just turn the CarPlay on. Now the wireless CarPlay works great, but I don't do any of the fancy stuff with it. So I'm like, why would I pay $6.99 for this radio when all I use is CarPlay?
Right.
And the one for 150 does it exactly the same way and as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the question I always have too. I mean, I have an Android-based one that was like $200 and some in my like my secondary car, and I do love it. I mean, but I use the Android portion so very, very little. Like the only time I use the Android portion is when my wife wants to go shopping and us kids, like me and the kids, don't want to go in with it. We'll pop a show on. You know, I'll put the hotspot on to my cell phone and we'll watch a show on. Otherwise, like I don't use the Android portion.
That's that's it, and that's cool. But I mean, I wouldn't cry if that didn't, you know, I didn't have that. You know, I could do the same thing with my phone or something. So it's just, I just don't know if it's worth the extra cash.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think it is for some people, not for me at least.
Right. And you know what? I respect Atoto too, because I said that in my review and they reached out to me and were like, hey, we really like your review. We appreciate what you said. We're going to work on the things that you said were negative. Would you mind reviewing this other unit? So, you know, I really appreciate their professionalism and how they handled some of my negative comments. So.
I agree. I've had nothing but good working experience with them as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. It means a lot.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. They do. You know, the behind the scenes, they actually do care about making their product better and do take feedback. You may remember that mine let out a puff of smoke when I connected it. And,
Yes, I do.
They took that very seriously. I didn't notice it when it first happened. I was like, people in the comments are like, "Hey, it caught on fire, buddy."
Yeah, I know. It was so quick.
Yeah, just a quick little puff. What ended up happening? I took it apart, and I didn't make a video of this, but I did film it. The Cirrus XM chip board shorted out. I don't know how. I don't know why.
But you'll never use it anyway.
So I would never use it. Exactly.
XM's fault. Yeah.
Right. At least one person commented and said there was some nut that got in the way that grounded it out, and I looked at it close, and that wasn't the case. It was already grounded anyways. But it caught on fire. I don't know. It did burn. There was smoke.
Somebody said Justin's got the Parker, the bass head touch.
Does he light things on fire? I didn't realize he did that.
He just likes
blows things up
a lot.
Yeah. So we did. So you want to hear something funny? So I just did. Yeah. So you guys were talking about the Atoto and how like they treat people and things like that. So I just did a review on a projector, which is the first projector, by the way. I went ahead and did real serious, like actual video tests on it. So you can actually see what you're actually seeing, if that makes sense. It tells you what the color spectrum is. It tells you how good the gamma is, how black the black is, how white the white is, all those types of things, which is great. And I reviewed it against a couple other ones and showed you some screenshots and decided, what I thought was good. And I did find that I felt like that particular projector was a good quality. And the first one that I think that anyone who was looking on a budget could build a budget home theater with. It's like $250, $240 actually. It's even cheaper if you use my code and go to use my link on it. But I think it's like $225 then. But that company made me feel good because I've gotten so many like these projectors I haven't done reviews on because they've been terrible. But almost always they arrive in like generic packaging, where all is they just drew their name on like the outer cover. And that was it, that 300 other companies sell the same projector. But the Ultimia that I got, it's literally their own packaging that you would see on a shelf and everything. I was like, oh, this is good. Came with a 1-year warranty, which most of them don't come with any warranty. It's like, all right, once you open it, hopefully it doesn't blow up. Warranty. These types of things where, and the color and everything was really, really, good for the price. And, those are the types of things. But they got back to me after that and talked to me about it. And they were very open to the feedback because they're one of the people that I do believe are going to continue to make their product better. And they're planning to come out with like a 4K television and a couple other things. And I'm really interested to see where that company goes because companies have to start somewhere, right? I mean, there was a time when we all hated Samsung. There was a time when we all hated Hisense. There was a time when we all hated Ryobi tools. I mean, so I don't know. I'm interested, by the way.
I used to hate Ryobi. When they were blue, I never liked Ryobi until they turned green. And I know that's the stupidest reason in the world, but it's the truth.
Gentlemen, I'm looking at the clock, and we're past our hour. And so the question I've always had at the end, and that question is, what have you got coming up on your channel? So who wants to go first? Who wants to talk about what you have lined up? What video's dropping next? So
go ahead, Mr.
Base side. Go.
They're both pointing at each other.
You're the guest. How do I do that? You're the guest, Base side. Go do your thing.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, wait, before Base side goes. If you're not already subscribed to Base Dad, make sure to hit the subscribe button on his YouTube channel. Did you put it in the link, Justin? Were you able to put it in the description?
I did not put it, but it's easy to find. It's just Base Dad. He's the only Base Dad on YouTube. You can't miss him.
You can't miss. So make sure you subscribe because you'll be able to see.
Base Dad. What is wrong with you people? Yes. You're all subscribed, aren't you? I'm sure they all are. They all know who you are.
I thought they all were.
They all are now. They all are now. Now, Base Dad, now tell us what you have going on. So now your subscribers now know what it is that they can look forward to seeing.
I appreciate you. Thank you for that. So we've got the leather transition. I know that's not audio related, but every once in a while I try to mix in some stuff that's not. And we just wanted to see if we could get a cat skin kit off of eBay and actually replace our own interior for a lot less than cat skin charges. I've had it done before. They charge like $2,000. We got it done for $500, and it's a really interesting video when that comes out next week. And then we've got the build on the truck that's ongoing, so you'll probably see that in a couple of weeks. And what else do we got going? Oh, I also got this is the most interesting one. I am interviewing. I've got Derek signed on to it, and I'm hoping they can get JP on it too. I want to interview a lot of you car audio guys who've been in this for a while, and just kind of get a different side of you and see where you come from, why you're here, you know, what your experiences are, personal and whatnot, and you know, just kind of a quick, 10, 15-minute thing with a few different bigger people in car audio, and just so we can see what's going on with those guys. And that's what I got in the immediate future. And then my project with Toys.
Yeah, which we haven't actually started. We just talked about it, so we're not really.
Hey, that's where it starts.
We have started talking about it.
You should announce it before you finished it. You never announce a project until it's done.
Well, no, because now you have to subscribe to both of our channels to see it. Like, what's going to happen? I don't even know. So
I thought about that too, Justin. I was like, I don't know if I want to say too much about what I got going on, so I try to keep it light. I hope all these things turn out, guys. They may, sometimes things work out differently than you think. So,
you've got a new dill pickle as your subscriber.
Oh, thanks, dill pickle. What's the dill pickle?
What's the dill pickle? And M Materi also said he's going to subscribe as well.
Thanks, guys.
So
I need it. Hey, I'm not monetized yet, and I know that may not mean anything to you guys, but man, I'm not working. This is all I want to do, and I want to keep doing it. And I really want to help you guys figure out what it is you want to get without you guys having to go get it. So the more subscribers, the more I can do that. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk about. So I just finished that projector video. If you guys haven't checked that out, I would love for you to just watch the video and leave a comment. Just tell me if you like how that video went. And if you didn't, just tell me what you didn't like about the video. Because this is new for me. I've never done the testing of videos. So I'm sorry, testing of projector screens. So I'll be interested. And I want to start doing more of these quantitative tests so that we can give you actual data of what these things are actually doing. Now, what I have coming up, the rule breaker, I never actually got to get that out last week. I had some editing issues. I'm going to try my hardest to get that out this week. That's one thing that's on my mind. I also, these things I lose quite often. So I'm going to try to make a headphone stand for them. I want to try to do that by the end of this week. Make something.
I so thought you said you were. I so thought you were going to say you're going to make some headphones.
No, that would be awesome, but all I would really do is probably take all the electronics out of these and then just make a wooden frame, and like that would be it. So it just look cool, but it would.
They'd be laying on a shelf if I did that. The guts of the headphones would just be laying on a shelf somewhere.
So that's a good question, Dan. I'll have to let you know. Can it be viewed in the living room during the day? I mean, I would highly suggest if you're gonna view any projector in the living room in a day that you'd want to get an ultra short throw with an ALR screen. It's just most projectors are not going to be bright. Like my JVC is significantly brighter than that particular projector, and I still don't want to watch it with the lights on. So that's just my personal opinion. Now you can still watch it with some lights on, but it's not going to be nearly the picture it is with the lights off, right? So that's my opinion. That's an interesting idea, Sean. All right, Justin. What about you, man?
All right. This is
Hayanka.
what will hopefully be the next video. This one's been making the rounds, and so they sent me one. It's actually been sitting in a box in the garage for about a month and a half or 2 months, and I should have had this done a while ago. So I'll get this. I hope to get this video out for them. It's in my truck right now. I'm running it at the moment in my daily for a few days while I get some sound impressions of it. I've already put it to the test with an SPL meter and the AMM1 to see how much power it could soak up, and I can get a bit of it on film because my stupid GoPros are acting up. So hopefully I'll get the chance to do all that over again and get you some good numbers. I can say that as I was turning it up, this thing says 1800 watts max power. I did throw 1800 watts at it, and so for a burp, and it didn't die. So it seems to be built halfway decent. So we'll see. We'll see if it's worth it or not.
You know what that reminds me of?
Cone, or excuse me, not the cone, the basket. Yeah, the basket.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that big. That's a great basket too.
You know what that reminds me of? Well, actually, first of all, that basket does kind of look like the Ultimax basket. The way, I mean, they're one and the same. But the one thing I was going to say to you, it reminds me of Street Fighter. Haruka, or whatever he says. You know, Hayonka. I can see him doing that. Hayonka. You know, yeah.
You see, Wolfie, I don't know if I want to destroy it or not, because I don't like destroying gear, but maybe I should.
I have a hard time with that too, man. It's hard to tear up something that's working good.
Yeah. And this is a standard basket. It's a good basket, but like a lot of subwoofers will have it. So
I've seen it quite a few times.
Stitch tinsel leads, the company responds to emails, which is nice because some of these companies just don't respond to email. And they have this Amazon sticker on the back. And so I found the answer to why it has an Amazon sticker on the back, and you'll have to catch the video to find out why it's there.
Oh, you're going to hang us like that?
Jeez. I love it.
Now I have to watch the video.
I got to learn how to do that.
Okay, try it now. Say, I'm going to put a blow through in my truck, and to see it, you have to.
You have to subscribe.
All right, if you want to see what I'm doing next, then you have to subscribe.
Do they respond in English?
Hey, look, I have a $13 subwoofer that I bought from Amazon, and I'm going to do something really crazy with it. And if you want to see it, you've got to subscribe to my channel. So.
I don't want to see it. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't want you to see
it. Man, Captain America is mean, and Thor. Jeez.
Man, I've had a good time, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been a blast.
It has.
All right, gentlemen. It's time to say goodbye. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button, and there'll be an awkward lag for a few seconds while the broadcast ends. We'll see.